despite playing support. So yeah, great team. Keen to see how they do.
2020, the year of support players that some may call. Let's take a look at the map just before we head into game. Our matchup is pretty much ready. Just have one more player to go. There it is. Clubhouse banned out by Cowana. Cafe Dostoyevsky. Now, makes sense from our perspective here, because this is going to be a tough one for Homeless currently. The old Izako Boars. You guys are both saying, Cowana, pretty good head start here.
I think it's going to be tough due to the nature of the opponent, regardless of what map they go to, but on the side of Homeless, they can say that, going through the Polish Masters, they won this map nearly every time they played it. So it's one of their better maps. The question is their standard for best map the same as Cavanagh's standard for any map?
Yeah, I will say this is a really good map for the Boars, or Homeless as they're now called. I looked through the Polish Masters, and this is their most played map. It's also the map that they've won the most at 5 times, but as Gio mentioned, they did lose it as well once. Cavanaugh have 2 victories on it. Admittedly, one was a really close 8-6 against Demise in the UKIN. I feel like it's a situation where Cavanaugh are just the better team, and it doesn't really matter what map. They should win. That said, this is a great map for the Boars, so I sure hope that Cavanaugh have done their homework and watched those games that they played.
All right, let's see how this goes. We'll toss it over to our casters. Cowana versus Homeless on Cafe Dostoyevsky. Jessica, all yours.
Once more, Jess, we go back to Cafe. Once more back to the place that we saw earlier on. A pretty good game by Windstrike. That was on home turf, but here, no one appears to sit on home turf. I'm really excited for this game because Izako Boars, I thought, played really well last week. They had a really good game. The first week against Penta, a little less so. So I'm wondering, can they bring it up against the UK Massive? You know I'm going to show Cavanaugh all day, but I want to see what Homeless or Izako Boars, take your pick here, either one. I want to see what they can do, because today we might actually get to see what they really look like when you take away the fact that they got rolled by Penta but rolled over Beacon last week.
Gio is being rather critical of Homeless, so you want to hope that they step up. Otherwise, they're just pretty much working to the standard that Shu's set on the desk there for them. So I think they want to prove her wrong in this game, but it's a fierce opponent in the side of Cavanaugh. And going to Cafe, well, that just makes it even harder here for Homeless because it's a very technical map. It's a very big map, and it's a map that you and I criticize a lot of teams for not having really good time management on. So the ace, well, that's a little bit of a stab in the side of Cavanaugh here. They're not going to have that long-distance projectile hard bridge to work with, but the Thatcher will come off as well, and that makes it exponentially more difficult for the attackers here. It's going to be hard for Cavanaugh, I think, especially now they're going to be stuck with Habana, Thermite. You could try Maverick as well, given that, there's no Thatcher there, so we'll see what they come up with.
Well, my band, no big surprise here. We saw it open earlier on. It was picked up in pretty much every single round. Not at all to be surprised, as that Wamai and Jaeger combo make a pretty terrifying combo, especially when stuck aligned something like a Maestro and a Goyo. There is just far too much utility to deal with when those pair are together, so glad to see that at least one has been taken away in the form of the Wamai. Mirror being the final one, no surprise for anyone. I would wager you don't see it too much on this map, even when it's available. But there are some holds upstairs that some teams do, especially around storage, looking in towards Piano, that teams will then rely on to help them contest deep into Piano and make it really tough for the attackers to get that top floor control.
Speaking of top floor, they're deciding that that is not their play. They're going to go all the way down to kitchen and service. It's funny that they call it kitchen service. I've never noticed it being called that, considering for the most part you just say kitchen, and then obviously the other side consists of freezer and coffee and all of those different grill parts. So I think to myself, it's funny they call it kitchen service. I've never heard that as a call out.
No one ever goes, they're in cooking or they're in service. No.
Does someone say service? No.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I still look at it. I still know that left is cooking and right hand is service, but I'm still always just like, it's kitchen. I don't know.
It's kitchen.
They change sides all the time. It's just kitchen, bro.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, no bakery hold here for Boars. We saw almost both of those teams in the last matchup of Windstrike and Matchcoat play it that way, but Boars are just tightening the ship here and going, no, we are going to reinforce off everything. Look at it. It's all closed off in some way, shape or form. They will do a white stairs hold. This means opening up that freezer wall there. I don't think they're going to open it up fully. It looks like they're just giving some lines of sight. Yep, and they'll throw a banshee on the other side, which that area of effect will go through those holes. And Nexus and possibly one other will do a VIP hold. So they're putting a lot of stock in the fact that Cavanaugh are going to do a white push. I hope they're right, because they're not really contesting Bakery at all.
I like how you do that kind of Swiss cheese setup on some walls as well. Makes it quite hard to get the breach onto them sometimes. You normally have to try and blow the whole thing open, and given how the current shape of the whole sets up, sometimes you can't get the whole thing open. Makes life really uncomfortable, but still gives enough visibility for defenders to be able to spray back through the other side. Less of the focus on towards Freezer, because Cavanaugh, no surprises, are going to start things off on the top floor. Now, Jess, we are into my metric game once more. They've got 45 seconds to impress me, or I'll be so let down by this UK side.
Stop it. You are so critical of teams that when it's the kitchen site, they don't start doing those verticals by 1 minute 30. I get it. You want them to start ripping. On the dot. They've got 30 seconds left. What's happening? Are they making it in or not?
They're going to make it in. I think they're okay. Now it's more peppering from above rather than actually getting down on the floor itself and getting to work. It's all about the games of getting those drones in there and finding out if there are any bombers hanging around. You can see that both Sloth, the Sledge and the Ash, let's say Sloth was by default then. They've already dropped their way in and are going to get about going to work. So look at that. We're at that mark of about 140 and they're already starting some work on smashing the floor. So they have started, Jess. They're ahead of time. I like it. This is like when a train or a bus turns up early and you feel so happy because it's raining outside. Bliss.
No one loves when a bus turns up early, especially when you're late.
I don't mind if it turns up early and sits there until time for departure, and therefore you get to be dry.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
What kind of buses you've got in Auslan, but by all means.
Not the best ones, but talking of buses, this is the worst segue in the world, and I am tired, but I'm sure Cavanaugh, now that they've got this time management skills on point for you here, Des, they're hoping to just steamroll their way through. Double-decker bus style here onto site. Less than 60 seconds left. How much?
3.
Oh, that's horrific. All right. But it looks like Homeless will kick things off here, and we're referring to them as Homeless, as you saw on the analyst desk, because, well, they're not with the Izako Boars anymore. Hopefully they get a new org by next Playday, because calling them Homeless kind of feels like a little bit of a sickening way to refer to a team.
A little bit weird as well. I was speaking to Reba about this actually, saying, why have they dropped you when you're in CL? He was like, I don't know, man. It was just some kind of decisions going on. Like, it is what it is. We're going to start competing under Homeless now. And I was like, look, fair play. Questionable decision, but for the team, they've still got a point to prove. We saw them play so well last week. And if they're on this bus, they're already smashing that stop button here for Cavanaugh and saying it can't carry on like this. But guess what? The bus don't stop for no one. They're a driver that can't stop. And there comes Foster. Big double C4 coming out on top of the opening kill that he got earlier. It's going to be Mixis getting one as well. They've turned this around for them massively with the C4. And that's why with this vertical control, you need the correct angles. Not watching in towards the hallway leads to a wonderful double C4. And that'll be the Boars taking the first round, despite at least Cavanaugh at the very start looking pretty organized, I thought.
You say UK massive, but everyone else after that round says Polska massive. Because that was huge. That C4 was huge. By default, over bar and bottom floor, there are holes that are made in that soft wall there, right? And especially when they redid Cafe, I sort of thought to myself, why is it like this? Well, it's like that for moments like that, where I thought to myself, oh no, all of the Homeless players are outside of sight. There's no opportunity for them to be able to contest Coffee in the default plant. What are they going to do? You know what they're going to do? They're going to use those default holes to just slip a C4 straight through and say hello and, well, good night all at once. So that was really well done. I'm actually really impressed by that C4. I wonder, and you've got to wonder, that's absolutely practice. That arc from outside over top into default plant, this was really well placed, had to have been pre-practice. I can't even get the words out.
Yeah, third time lucky.
Yeah, thank you.
Fortunately for them, it was first time lucky with the C4. Probably hundreds more gone through into practice, but as you say, it's enough to secure them that first round. It's a good start for Homeless, but I won't take it away from Cavanaugh. Their approach to the site at least was good, all the way up until the point that they forgot about someone with a C4 could potentially be lurking nearby. It came back to bite. We're going to head up a single floor, so it's like an elevator. You've got to go via the second floor before you can get to the third. We're going to go to Reading and Fireplace as our next site. And you and I speak about this all the time. We spoke about it literally earlier on today in our first cast, back in the very first game. It's just like taking the top floor, but then you've also taken the top floor, but then you've also got the added element of the second floor to consider as well. And you can see the setup work that has gone upstairs from Homeless here. You won't commit as much utility upstairs as you would normally would if you were defending the top floor, but it's all about playing back inside a cocktail, making so you can sit behind these shields. You can see the double reinforced wall looking in towards storage because you don't have enough utility to commit towards holding storage itself. So it makes total sense. You just want to waste some time and then get your way down the hatch, get out of dodge, keep yourself alive, and hope you've wasted enough time to force a very awkward situation for the attackers in the dying seconds.
Love your analysis every now and then, Des. You're very deep, you're very thorough with it. Good stuff. We're learning
I'll take
from each
that hint, Jess. Frequently, Jess will tell me after a broadcast, she's like, good, but you're doing my job, Des. I'm like, I'm really sorry,
Yeah.
Jess. That is true. You are being paid to give us some analysis, so I shouldn't do as much of it. That was her being really slight with me. This is what happens when my brother and sister, she's very direct sometimes.
Well, you've caught the hint nonetheless, and guess what? Homeless have caught the hint that those C4s are absolute winners for them. We love that being chucked up from below in mining. A lot of these players have been doing this in all different regions now. That's sort of the default C4 throw up through the vertical. And now a round, or a match I should say, that should go into the hands of Cavanaugh is looking very shaky for them. Swing out on him, Foster. Let him know where you are, buddy, because he doesn't miss.
Found himself yet another, strikes back in to try and find the next, but Anarchic is ready, and he's done with the anarchy taking place from the side of Homeless up on the top floor. We'll clear at least one out. However, there were a couple of members still lurking up and might have to deal with one or two more, and I think the problem is they don't know where they all are. They definitely don't know where ours is, as he's going to strike back. Nexus with another one off White Stairs, and my God, Homeless are off to one hell of a start. Didn't even give Cavanaugh an inch on that top floor.
I get it now. I get why the Boars dropped them. They're just too hot to handle, like a hot potato. They said, nah, we can't handle you. Go to another org that can handle this because you're on fire. And I am really excited because I did say at the beginning of EUCL that I used to coach Mexus. I'm obviously very aware of Hour from, PG Nats back in Italy when I was a coach there. And I thought to myself, God, I know these players are very good. I know they've got a lot of capability. And those first couple of play days, or rather the first play day, was not really indicative of that. They got steamrolled, but they got steamrolled by an old team I used to coach as well. So I thought to myself, they're all great. They're all great players. I love them all. But now maybe we're seeing their potential. Now maybe they're starting to work things out and go, hang on, the competition here is a lot heavier than we expected. They're raising their standards, whether it's in scrims or in meetings or whatever it is. And I'm just happy to see that because that's what you want from players. You don't want just everyone to steamroll everyone. You want growth in these players as well. That's what Tier 2 is about. It's about growth. It's about seeing the future stars of our game. And I think that's what we're getting to see sometimes.
I think the exciting thing is the thing we said back at the map start for the Boars, or Homeless. And you look at how the season started, as you just said, rolled by Penta. That's going to happen. Second game they come in against Be Kind, roll Be Kind. We haven't yet had a chance to see them in a game where all things are equal against against I guess similarly matched competition. I personally thought coming into this, given how well Cavanaugh have played so far, they would be leagues ahead of Homeless. And to be fair, I've been pleasantly surprised. But this is the test that I think the Boars needed. And I'm glad that we're at least getting to see it now. Into round number 3, though. Nothing really worth shouting at home about just yet. I guess the one thing to note, of course, with the Thatcher being banned away, Kai does become a little more effective. I didn't think we'd really see all that much of him coming through on this map especially. But they are going to bring it along here, which could present quite a problem for the side of Cavanaugh unless they can make use of the vertical play with the IQ, which you're seeing on screen now, destroying those gadgets from above.
There's not a lot of places that you can place those electric claws, at least over towards the site. They can't really be dispatched by the attackers. I'm more worried that it's being used on that piano wall in the corner, and it is, I believe, being placed in the corner. Some people place those, oh, that was a really well-placed Ash charge. I'm just going to stop myself there. If you put it right in front of the shield, its explosion radius will transfer over and just completely dispel the use of any of those ADSs, of which they have 2 there. So they could continue to play Pixel if they wanted to, but for the most part, it's a much more dangerous situation now without that shield. So really, really well done there by the Ash. Who was that? That's Gorgona? Yeah, not surprised.
Christ, Jess, hold yourself back. Don't big him up too much. He's also got no drones left. And in the support
Hey,
meta of
he's in
Ashe, your
Ashe.
whole idea is... I was about to say, the Ashe is like, I don't care if it's support Ashe in this meta anymore. I want those drones gone. I want to get running forward. I want to start fragging. It's about time he starts doing that, because in the last couple of rounds, a lot of kill found for him. Same story can be said for Sloth and for Grizzly, mind you. So it has been a painful lesson for Cavanaugh so far in guerrilla warfare. They've barely been able to compete against Homeless, and yet more C4s are raining up above. You can see how they've got this whole coverage now for West Side too, looking out towards the east, trying to find these longer angles, but they're just getting picked apart again. It's Foster with yet another opening kill, this time round onto Kayak.
You can see Cavanaugh, they're just pre-firing everything. Nice little shoulder shot onto Kayak there. Oh my goodness, Mexis, calm down, buddy. He's all over it, and well, now it's all up to Anarchic. He's still on the roof. So you better hope this commando can pop, and it can pop 4 players in a row with coming up 30 seconds left. I think we could probably slow it down here for a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, and just say, since this is an unwinnable situation, let's talk about what we're seeing here from Homeless. One, complete domination from a team that was getting completely dominated. I don't know how else to describe this other than this is awesome to see. Maybe Cowana misjudged their opponents here?
I think we all did at this point in time. I think coming into the season, although there were some who were like, look, there are some good players in Poland. We just haven't seen them really shine on the international stage yet. This is a wonderful example of that being exactly the opposite. And call it an international stage or not, it's a European competition. It's like the Champions League, boys. Just enjoy it for what it is. But I like that we're seeing them bring such stiff competition. Again, there's maybe, what now, 3 or 4 kills to Cavanaugh across 3 rounds? This has not been pretty. 3 kills in 3. They're getting an average of 1 kill a round, whereas the Boars are stacking up 15 kills across all 3. They have completely wiped out the side of Cavanaugh. Hasn't even come down to time. And this is the second time now that we're going to see the side of Cavanaugh bringing along the Ying. I'm hoping it can do something for them this time.
I started to notice that Cavanaugh got a little shaky throughout the mid and late round. During that last round, they were pre-firing everything, Des. It was like they had no idea where people were, but if they pre-fired every single angle, hopefully someone was peeking it and they would catch them. And it was almost like Homeless were like, I don't know, just so hyper aware of when they would be shooting and when they wouldn't be, because when they weren't shooting, that's when a player would peek, take them by surprise, and put them in a DBNO or completely out situation. So for me, you go back to the game against Be Kind, I didn't put a lot of stock in it myself because I actually thought that at the time, the Boars, and now Homeless, and Be Kind were the 2 lowest in the group by far. So I sort of thought to myself, it could be easy for the Boars to run them over and look like a highly strong team when maybe they're not. Now I'm starting to think, nah. Playday 1 was just Penta being good and Boars trying to catch their feet. Now I'm thinking there's something else going on.
York had them chained down. They had like some kind of curse on them where they couldn't play at the full power, and now they're without an Org. Apparently they're really good. So let's see if that happens when it comes back to being an Org in future. Got to point out the fact they've now got the double information gain coming in, both the Valkyrie and the Maestro. What a great time to bring the Valkyrie when you no longer have an IQ on side. Gorgona here is playing on the Ying. Sloth has moved over to the Ashe, and Arkic is therefore on the Nomad. So a couple of changes coming in for the side of Cavanaugh, hopefully to try and spice things up. And my God, do they need it, because at this point, they need to find themselves something, or this game could be over very quickly.
We said this game would be over very quickly if they played like they played against Penta, but for Cavanaugh. We did not expect this from Homeless. I've always loved being pleasantly surprised and pleasantly wrong as well. So I fear for Cavanaugh now, because you're just getting outsmarted in almost every area of the map, whether it's gunplay, whether it's angles, whether it's that impact tricking, for example, where you're losing one whole set of X-Kairos, which is kind of okay, but you have no other hard breach. So, that's a big
I'd say it's
to
okay.
lose.
I mean, given they had to use 2 impacts to try and deny that as well for only 1 set of X-Kairos, they can still afford to get the hatch and get a hole open for them to then go and push through on the downstairs. As long as they clear up Mexis here, because if they try to get that left panel open going in towards Freezer, guess what? He's probably just going to spray it off the wall and you'll be in for a world of hurt. They have removed that shield now against where Mexis is playing in VIP, and with the drone coming in, they must surely know that he's still holding around inside of here. Surely they can try and deal with it, but he's got out of dodge. There he is, finally spotted me in the corner. I was going to say, I thought he'd backed away into restaurant. Going to try and push Benjamin here, a Candela at the ready. As Foster, with a run out of all things, tries to make something happen, but nothing else to come. And Maestro is not the operator to make that happen on. Candela in, comes in for the swing, but it's traded back by Royal pretty much immediately. So numbers look good for Cavanaugh, but can they close this out? There's no C4 available for ours this time round, so no miracle C4 play to come in, but you've got to worry about Foster, the player that has been fragging pretty much all game so far. If he can catch them out when they come in for this drop, this could be painful.
What a great trade as well. Max has said, I'm being pushed. And someone said, yeah, no problems, I'll trade you almost instantly. That's great. This team play is magic. And look at this Maestro. He wants a kill and it's all happening here. Oh no, things have gone dry here now. It looks like it's all up to Anarchy to try and get the plant off with 10 seconds left. If I'm him, I either go for the plant right this moment or I go for the kill. There's no other chance, and here we go.
Go for the plant in a slightly unconventional spot as well, where clearly Foster doesn't know where he is. So going to have to play this out in the post plant. Comes off it, surely he knows to the right hand side that he's present. Yes, he does. You've got to spray around, but it's so important he wins this. An Arctic down to half HP. Foster, oh my god, gets the pistol out and lands the headshot. Beautiful from an Arctic to make sure Cavanaugh don't find themselves down 4 rounds. They do find one here to bring us up to 3-1.
Oh. It almost seems like rounds that should absolutely be in the bag for Homeless are just not in the bag for them. And the rounds that they probably shouldn't win are the rounds where they flourish. It's an interesting, weird dynamic that they've got going on here. And, well, Cavanaugh finally get their first round. This might kick off a bit of momentum for them as well. I mean, we said before they had 1 killer round. Usually you can say that about a singular player. But now, well, they're picking things back up.
I feel bad for Sloth as well. So bad for him. He DMs me every day, every single Playday. It's really cute. He's always like, are you casting me later? I'm like, yeah, me and Jess are. And he's like, wicked awesome. And like, I think he's really excited for me to hype him up so we can listen to it back later because we're good mates. And then he comes and goes 004 so far. And I'm just like, Sloth, mate, if you listen to this, know that I still love you, even if you're a terrible player.
Oh, no.
He's not a terrible player. He's incredible. I've already picked him up on the EUL broadcast. It's allowed.
Look, you could be a little bit of I don't know, a shill sometimes, but sometimes you can also be quite harsh on players. And I like that. I like the sort of dynamic you've got there.
That sounds like raw hypocrisy coming from you.
Hey, I don't make a secret of it.
Do I?
Sometimes.
Not really. That's a bit harsh.
Mm-hmm. No. Top 4 hold for a reading.
I really want to see this work, by the way, the Ying. They busted VIP with it, right?
They did.
That was okay.
They made use of it. I think the thing is that Gorgona knows exactly what he wants to do with it, but only when he gets to a situation where it becomes viable. Before that, I don't think he necessarily has a plan with it. I think it's just when the opportunity presents itself, that's when the Candelas become relevant. Is this a rush? Is this a rush into reading? This is a rush plan. Oh my god, hit it, Cavanaugh.
And you've got another one to go through. So quick pause, smash, 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 smash. And in we go. And there we go. Out come the Candelas, swinging around in Grizzly straight in. Soft is like, where's my kill? Where's my kill? There's my kill. Cavanaugh find 4. And Foster will get 1 back. But my God, has he got a hell of a clutch to do here against everyone. Finds 1. Hits the air jabs. 2 or 3 more playing down to the south. And this is going to be a real hard drag back. Grizzly is also down, mind you, as yet another Candela flashes across his face. He could do this. We've already seen what he did in the last round, but he's got to be able to pull it all the way back. And of course, because he hasn't had to burn out those smoke canisters earlier on, he can use them all now. There's one playing on the upstairs, and that one hits the roof as a way to try and deter someone who might be above. But the angle's being held. He's going to spray through. Foster down to nothing. Still looking to contest. He's on 10 kills across 5 rounds so far. A good effort, but you've got all the work to do, and Gorgona is holding the angle, and that is how you catch a team off guard. Great rush coming out of Cavanaugh.
Oh, that was a really good round. When I said momentum, I didn't mean like Mach 10 overdrive, hit a door at like full shift W speed, but I'm happy that we got that because that was exciting. I knew straight away when I saw the sledge outside on balcony, I was like, yeah, they are about to hit this so hard and fast. I think the big thing for Homeless there was not that you should always expect that, but you should absolutely have someone at the ready on the vertical, or at least close by to the vertical, because one sledge went off, another sledge went off, and all of a sudden the people on site surely must be screaming. So that's enough opportunity for someone to go to the vertical above and go, yeah, I can see the default plant, no problems, boys. I'll at least deny the planter. We'll see how we go from there. But there was none of that. So don't know what the setup was like upstairs other than those Goyo shields and reinforcements. Didn't see those verticals being set up properly. So that's a learning curve here for Homeless.
Okie dokie, let's see how the half ends if Homeless can continue and get the 4-2, which feels deserved after how the first 3 rounds played out. But, well, based off the previous round, Cavanaugh managed to snatch one from the jaws of defeat when clearly Homeless had zero idea it was coming in the prior round. It came down to a pretty close 1v1 where we almost saw Homeless pull back a 5 or a 2 versus 5, I guess is the best way to word that one. It still gives Cavanaugh the 2 rounds that they've been looking for on the attack, and no doubt here looking to make it 3. But I'm still impressed with what we've seen from Homeless. Confident that once we switch sides, we'll still see some excellence coming out from them. Just depends how much they can rely on not playing around C4s, not relying on catching out members of Cavanaugh, and instead maybe looking more towards kills with things like frag grenades or whatever else it might come down to.
You know, it's such a shame because Homeless have gone, oh my god, that Ying was such a problem. Mexus got flash out in VIP. They've been using it multiple rounds. That last round they used it. Come on, boys, let's bring the 1 counter, the Warden. And Cavanaugh go, yeah, nah, we're not bringing it, boys. Don't worry. We can do without the Ying this time. What a shame, right? Because you want teams to be able to adapt to things. And the moment they do, it's like read in by the opponent and they're just going, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah.
Oh, I realize I'm Australian. Not a lot of people understand what yeah, nah means. Whatever the second part of that statement is exactly what we're saying. So yeah, nah means nah, and nah, yeah means yeah. Just so you know, if I pop it out again.
I remember you explained that to us. Oh, you and Dev both explained it to us all in stage 1. And I was like, I finally understand. I've heard it so many times, but never understand what the hell I'm listening to. Especially when it goes, yeah, nah, yeah, that's equally confusing. Reba probably confusing Cavanaugh. Gorgona. I was trying to mix the 2 names together there. Gorgona pushing in through the top of red and gets gunned down. Sloth's going to be the second in line to try and challenge the claim of King Reba. First of his name inside a cigar, and guess what? The king won't be dethroned today by anyone, Sloth. Needs to be a bit more awake if you're going to try and get that kind of kill. And that is going to be such a huge denial factor coming out against Cavanaugh. You've lost the Ash and the Zofia. You have good luck dealing with those shields of Foster.
Imagine being Reba right now as well, because you're meant to be the last line of defense, but he's the first line of defense here for Homeless, and he's doing an excellent job of it. Does he get another one for looking up at the hatch at a really good angle? Yes, he does. Triple, baby. That's 1, 2, 3. And well, if you're Reba right now, this whole round is on your back. And if they don't win it, I'd be yelling at my teammates.
Oh, baby, a triple.
Oh, baby.
And that's how I got my first triple in free-for-all or something like that. I can't remember. It's so long ago, that thing. It's from the year 2004 on the internet. I didn't remember last week, let alone 16 years ago. Even I can't count anymore, apparently. Either way, Reba's doing incredible work. They finally managed to get inside a cigar. You'll be pleased to know, dear viewers, the question is, what more damage can they possibly do? Reba's now lurking back up from cigar. He's hungry. He wants everything for himself, and even going to smoke out the corner here, do no damage, as they are very aware, and will slip away. Kayak's almost fearful of a rotate coming in, despite having the Nomad on side as well. Normally would see an air jab come flying in towards the red stairway. Now this is down to almost nothing, and there we go. Foster comes up the stairway, so guess what? Kayak was right to have some fear, but Anarchic is down all by himself, will shut 2 down here, and the king is dead. Long may his memory reign.
That's it, Anarchic. Just go for those exit frags, pad the stats. We all know which way this is going, and it's to, I was going to say to Pound Town. I can't really say that, but I've already said it now.
Be late. You've buried yourself in there now, Jess. You may as well commit.
Yeah, I committed. Straight to Pound Town. Ow.
That's better. That's better. What was that?
You don't do that? Ow.
Ow. What was that?
Ow. It's like an expression of like, F yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No. It's the kind of sound you'd hear a dog make.
Oh,
I mean, look, some people may think you've just done a wonderful imitation of what they think you are, but we won't go too deep into that one. Foster then, at 11 kills. Yeah, I had to do it to him, come on. Either way, great first half coming out for the Boars. Those 4 rounds they won, by the way, all incredibly dominant. You would argue maybe they had another round they could have won in that 1 versus 1. The other one, they got caught off guard by a rush. It's going to happen sometimes, and for Cavanaugh to get those 2 rounds, I'd say, hasn't been a bad job. Let's see how they shape up now that they go onto the defense, and they're the ones more in control of where they choose to make their stand, because I think for the Boars, you sometimes see when teams go over to the half of a map, we see a total swing in momentum. They lose the pace, the tenacity, the aggression that you sometimes see. That's what I really want to see continue. As much as I'm a UK shill, I'll be very happy to see Homeless go on to win this game, given how they've played so far.
Yeah, that's my biggest fear, is that now that they're on attack, things just absolutely collapse for them. That momentum oftentimes doesn't always drag from defense over to attack, and if it does, it actually is a detriment to the attacking team. You go too fast, you're sloppy, you don't think about your utility, you're just going for those kills, you get tunnel visioned. I'm hoping Homeless just went back after that round and go, good first half, boys. Now let's think about our step-by-step on attack, do it properly, give it some justice, because this match is going our way. That's what I want to see.
Starting things off up towards top side, as you would probably come to expect. And looking at the setup on the side of Cavanaugh, no Valkyrie in sight, something that Homeless were very, very hot on using in the first half. Look their intel, and look at the team play coming out there. A drone, they have the yellow ping on, I believe. And that was Grizzly completely isolated, and Royal more than happy to spray through once that hash got smashed out by Reba. Good start, and that is yet another opening kill coming out for the side of Homeless. I believe that's now 6 of all the rounds that we've seen they've got the opening kill. Terrifying.
That was just so good. That was honestly just so well timed and well structured and coordinated.
Gross.
That was dirty, however. We know a lot of these UK players know exactly how to rat a bullet hole, and well, we got it seen right there by Kayak. No shotgun SMG duo there, so that gave him the opportunity to get some really good, accurate long-range shots out. As we get around the halfway mark of the round, only mechs us down, and that really wasn't a huge hit. I'm not sure if he's already cooked the ADS. It kind of looked like he might have, so it's not actually a huge loss.
What about how much time we're losing here is my top fear. Why was that? That was totally random and out of the blue, but sure, by all means. Bar and cocktail, obviously, where we are on the top floor, so there's no focus about worrying on the downstairs. Interestingly, they have gone for the setup of reinforcing pretty much everything inside of storage, except for the one wall inside a bathroom, which has been left soft. So with that opened up, it's almost like an alternative sort of setup here, because what you can see is Kayak stepping back and forth between playing on Pixel, playing inside of the toilet itself, and looking to use that angle. Al's going to find the angle, and oopsie daisy, didn't know that Gorgona was here, steps around and finds 2. He's done a Reba. He's claiming that crown for himself, but guess what, Jess? It's a 1 versus 1, and it's a Clutch King himself. Reba coming up against Gorgona. Gorgona finds the triple. Reba shut down, and Cavanaugh take their first offensive round.
It wasn't a very convincing one, but when you slip up in that fashion, that's exactly what you deserve, and that's what Homeless did there. I think they got a little bit carried away with that man advantage there, absolutely threw it out of the door in mere seconds, and as a result, well, Gorgona was in a couple of good positions, and Reba kind of tunnel visioned in that 1v1 there. This happens to players when you're in a 1vx or a 1v1 situation. You'll say, where did you last see them? Oh, I saw them over near New Hatch, and then they just tunnel vision on that angle. You got to remember, a player after they get a kill is very likely to relocate, very likely to rotate their position so they're not predictable, and that's exactly what Gorgona did. So good to see for Cavanaugh. They're bringing things back to a tied scoreline here. One more round, and that's what we'll see. But for Homeless now, I think having such a close round should sort of spell to them that their attacks aren't horrible, that they've got something going there for them. They just need to make sure they're clear, calm, and collected throughout the entire round, not just early and mid.
And it was real scrappy playing around Pixel angle, where you saw Gorgona hovering for the longest time alongside Kayak, and a couple of naughty trades back and forth in the early round, but still netted a win for Cavanaugh. So now we head way down to the basement. That elevator shaft is open. You fell straight through. There is no elevator car in there to take you down peacefully. We've gone way past the second floor and straight down to the first. Keen to see what sort of setup we see coming out of Cavanaugh, because we know these players like to run. We know that Sloth likes being at every single window under the sun. This is his chance to make an impact early round if he wants to, given how quiet he has been so far. 1 kill across 6 rounds. Not the best start for the boy.
Late setup means Grizzly barely gets away with his life there. Some shots were peppered up to red window, and guess what? Shots were peppered back by Sloth. You called windows and doors, and well, he delivered.
Ouch.
Ouch.
That's going to happen sometimes. And on a map like this, when we've seen so much utility coming out, you think would having the Zofia left alive would be very critical. I mean, back in the old days, well, I'd say back in the old days, on some maps it's still relevant. You want the hard breaches to be alive for as long as possible, given you need them. It feels even more painful to these days to lose the Ashe and the Zofia, and that's a really weird thing to think.
No.
Go on, Sloth. Go on, Sloth. Go on.
Don't
Go
do
on.
it
Do it for the
dirty to
boys.
him, man.
Channel your inner Joe. Do it. There's 2 out there. I know you can do it. We've seen you do it so many times in the UK. Okay, now you've lost your chance.
That was a brilliant old trick that when Legion first came out, you would pop it on the windowsill and you can't pull it out. There you go, he does manage to jump out. You can't pull it out when you're rappelling, so it forces them to go all the way down, clocking damage the whole time if they do leave it in for more than that 5 second. And then of course, as a result, they're having to go down, pull it out, and that's your opportunity to also jump out. So it's got a double sort of effect there. But some good trades coming out, but it's all up to Reba now.
The comments on the aggression that often came out of Homeless in the first half, I'm glad that we're seeing it coming out of Cavanaugh in the second, being willing to get in piano and disrupt Boars before they can even look at getting inside the map. Does put it into a 3 versus 1. I think we know which way this round is going. The scariest thing is, again, it doesn't feel like it should be a 4-4 if the round does end this way. It feels like Homeless have done far more in the rounds that they have won than what we've seen from Cavanaugh in theirs. But either way, at the end of the day, as I said, I think I said yesterday on broadcast, no one remembers what happened in the rounds. The only thing they'll remember is going to be the scoreline, and 4-4 is a sign that Cavanaugh are bringing things back.
If you're Homeless right now, you're a little bit worrisome, or you're in a little bit of a pickle here, because if Cavanaugh are doing so well on their defense and they keep up this momentum, you did say it's not a very convincing momentum, so I'll give you that. But if they keep it up, even if they're winning rounds in a 1vx fashion, it doesn't matter. They're still putting rounds on the board. And I don't know who said it the other day. I think it might have been Fabi, and he said, you know, we could win 7-5, 7-1, 7-0. It doesn't matter. A win is a win. And I absolutely agree, is that no matter how you do it and you get to a win, it's a win. What I worry for Cavanaugh is they get in that comfort zone of going, hey, we won, but they made a lot of mistakes along the way. That's the problem when you're going up against teams week after week after week, is to not settle into that kind of, okay, it works, so it works.
Alrighty. 30 seconds on the countdown. Nothing really to shout home about, at least initially from what I'm seeing. But we are, of course, playing the mining site. And you and I commented on this, I believe, the other day if it wasn't EU, it was APAC. Again, the days all blur into one over a certain amount of time. That we have seen teams slowly starting to gravitate towards this site. Even just for the way some teams attack into fireplace, for example. They'll go via train and look for a plant inside a fireplace when assaulting onto reading a fireplace. And some teams have opted towards it. You play a lot behind the C4s. You look to do a lot of vertical denial. The number of C4s that we have seen come sailing up into the piano area above through the slats in the roof, absolutely ridiculous. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that become part of the game plan again today, if not for Sloth putting barbed wire down where that normally happens.
This is Homeless's chance to be able to net one attacking round and give us a little bit of a convincing round win. Especially when you're going up against this kind of format. Draws are in play here, and when you're going up against a possible draw scenario, that's the worst, or one of the worst case scenarios here for both teams. Both teams desperately need wins in their pocket. And the more draws you get, the further away from being able to go forward to the playoffs you are, especially when you're in this particular group. You don't want to be left behind. And now, well, this top 4 take, I'm going to be pretty confident in saying that the roam here from Cavanaugh isn't fully committed. They've got some players playing a little bit back, but they're in positions where they could rotate back very quickly to site if they needed to. I think it's only really Sloth that has moved himself up as far as he has. And for the most part, Grizzly is in a really good position to be able to flake out if he wants to.
Imagine my shock when Sloth is the most forward player on his team. Still yet to strike big and find himself a couple of opening kills onto the team. In fact, I don't know if he has got an opening kill so far, bar one in the last round with that kill onto Royal. That was a spawn peak, so you can half discount that one, count it as half an opening kill if you really want to. Either way, no really big threats coming through just yet, and you can see Mex is starting to claw his way forwards on the top floor. Got to be mindful of Sloth potentially coming up behind him, given he was hovering around a pixel angle earlier on. Don't believe he's playing behind a shield, and even now he's moved all the way back down white and has returned downstairs. Killed a couple of drones, done his job upstairs, and now gets back on site to join his team. Like that we're seeing the control come through there rather than getting too hungry and trying to go hunting for the players that are on the top floor.
Yeah, like I said, I was really happy to see that. Actually, this is a twofold setup. I didn't even notice this. When I say a twofold, they've got a C4 underneath hold, and they initially had a top floor hold, which was a flake one. I did suggest that it was a flake one. That's why they're already back near site. But they've also got an underneath C4 one. Homeless have no opportunity. I'm going to say this very confidently now. They have no opportunity to get on site and plant with this kind of setup. There's no way.
the amount of time that it's taken as well. And yes, they've got to work on the upstairs. And Mexis is going to convert onto Sloth, bringing it to 4 apiece. Here it's kind of going to be a Hail Mary, I think, to try and make any kind of plant work, because I agree with you, the amount of control they've got doesn't really seem to be widespread enough towards the rooms that they need. However, it is earned very quickly once you start down in members. With Gorgona gone, Ours picking him up in second of the round, things aren't looking so bad. 2 drones to go. They're now going inside a wheel and going for a plant, but guess who's downstairs?
Yep.
Of course it is. It's trusty old Kayak, and in fact, he's dodged away. Almost steps back onto it, but looks to the side. Goes in for the spray down. Where on earth was an Arcade looking? Apparently not towards where the plant might be coming from. Reaper's going to go again. Down comes Grizzly, but guess what? They also knew this was coming. C4 in hand. In fact, I lied. It's a shotgun, as of course hasn't got one left, but that diffuser goes down, and like I said, it's going to have to be a Hail Mary. The Hail Mary comes out. Down goes Reba, and Kayak has got so much work to do here. A 1 versus 3. It feels like I've said that line so many times this game. 1v3 after 1v3, holding the core, and he walks straight in. Homeless are going to take round number 9. This feels like it's going all the way up to a draw, Jet, if this trajectory carries on.
I said 30 seconds ago, you don't win this. You don't win those situations. Cavanaugh, what? You don't win those situations. You have 2 C4s below. What happened? Now, I will be frank, Reba read into it straight away when there were some of those vertical holes from below, and he moved off the plant and baited out the first C4. Where did the second C4 go? If you're going to commit to a 2-fold or at least an underneath vertical challenge to the default plant, or not even default plant, to the plant as a whole, then commit to it. Don't rely on someone with a shotgun and a C4 to be able to deny it at all costs. That should have been a Cavanaugh round with that particular setup. No one was challenging them below. That was a freebie floating around kitchen. I get it. All of the upstairs players, they dive, they fold, but they're down on time. They have to plant, and that's when you as Cavanaugh should be able to win that. I'm now feeling really good here for Homeless, because if you win a round like that, things are looking healthy.
I'm wondering when their rush comes out. Given it worked so well for Cavanaugh, why not just call the Hail Mary and make it happen? And that execution kind of was, given how much time was left and the do-or-die situation into mining they had to go for. But either way, it's another round pulled off. It's 1 round closer towards the draw, if not that elusive win that no doubt many, me included, didn't think they would find against Cavanaugh. And for Cavanaugh, a team that, again, had a real scrap getting into CL. They played really well throughout the UKIN season, sat in first place of pretty much all of it. Eminem got into the playoffs, managed to scrape their way through and beat Na'Vi to win the whole thing. Cavanaugh knocked out by facing off against Na'Vi twice is a great example. They were the dark horse for me coming into this, but today they're showing the wobbly signs that teams like Homeless could tear them apart if they're not ready.
This has turned out to be a really good game. I keep referencing back to the fact that we said it might be a really quick one, but it absolutely won't be. And it hasn't been for the most part. I want to see that C4 work, but no one's repelled up, and Grizzly's very aware that he didn't hear any repel signs. He might have been able to get something now, for example, but it's way too late into the round. He's pretty convinced no one's repelling. What I want those C4s to be used for, and when I say those C4s, there's only 1 on the side of Cavanaugh at the moment, and pretty much no other planter other than Kayak, who's had a pretty okay game beside Gorgona. I think you've got to be careful how you're using the utility, because for the most part, Homeless have been focusing on the plant, and they've been doing pretty damn well with it. Ew.
Yikes. I mean, this is Kayak's home. This is where he's got a good couple of kills from, whether through bullet holes or through window sprays like that, and getting the connecting kills is big. And for Royal, in 2 of these attacking rounds so far, he has been the opening death before he's even had a chance to fire a bullet or use a piece of utility. And it is going to be painful not having that Zofia utility on side once it comes around to starting to deal with the utility, especially now that you're looking that there is an Evil Eye or a couple of Evil Eyes on side, you're dealing with the Banshees, so on and so forth.
Half the round has elapsed, and it doesn't look like Homeless have made too much of an impact. I believe they did throw through a grenade onto Pixel before, and they're pointing out a couple of those Banshees. Hopefully this drone gets shot, because it will put us out of our misery here of this particular mute bug. Hopefully, here we go. And it did not fix it. That's okay. We will fix it next round for you. Beautiful medics in our ears. And for the moment, we will do the sounds for you. This is going to be a big boom in a second and bang. And oh my God, it shocked us back to sound.
No, Jess, that really wasn't us. I'm sorry to say we're that magical, but I'm not 100% convinced we are. But it is almost back. You are still getting some of those sounds in. And still a couple of kills raining through. One finally traded back by Homeless to bring down Sloth, the Slayer in this round, who found himself a kill, not just a few seconds before. So things have kind of come out to balance. Yes, it's a 4 versus 3, but could almost be traded back the other way. Once more, it's Mexis with a double kill. And I completely appreciate the aggressive attempt coming out of Grizzly, but that's going to put things all even and square with only 25 seconds left to play.
Not a lot of time, but guess what? If you can shoot better than your opponent, then you're going to win. And that's exactly what Homeless do here. Ladies and gentlemen, I think if there's an upset tonight, this might be it. Don't want to cast a curse it, but every time I've spoken ill of Homeless, they've been able to make something good of it. So I don't think it matters what I say.
I always don't want to criticize the small things, but like in that instance... Grizzly running out from reading by himself, hoping that Mexis wouldn't be paying any more attention, looking a completely different direction. Nah, more than ready for it. Strikes him down, and then it comes down to, well, running through into bar and finding 2 kills straight down south in towards Kayak's Kingdom, and closing the round out from there. That guarantees them at least a draw against Cavanaugh. Again, a team that I pinned down as a dark horse. What a game from them. And I've got to say, look at the numbers. Everyone standing up on the side of Homeless here. No less than 7 kills on any given member.
That's exactly what you want to see from a team. You want everyone to be able to step up. You don't want those hero players every time. And I actually think that's rather boring, to have one of those players that just consistently step up and the rest are just like present. I hate that. I want to see a team game here, and that's exactly what Homeless are giving us here. This has been a really entertaining match, I will say, because for the most part, I have no doubt in my mind that Cavanaugh were the favorites coming into this. We all said they should have been the favorites, and now we're getting such a refreshing bit of gameplay here from Homeless in, I don't know, a revitalized way. It's not like they've changed any players. They're just coming in and saying, we deserve to be in EUCL, and this is why.
Sending a message to the Boars and saying, bet you wish you didn't drop us now, huh? It's a good start for them. See what more they can convert it into. And the best thing is, with a win like this, if they do end up going on to win this out, then suddenly you start sniffing around playoffs and thinking, hey, you might see Homeless in playoffs. And then they would have a home.
Wow.
Playoffs.
Well, I think the whole business was that they couldn't afford these players. And, well, after today's performance, I absolutely believe that. They're putting on a show for us here, and I'm not sure if I'm quite worthy of it, given that the improvement of the team from last Playday to this, which has only been 7 days, has been what I expect improvements over a month to take. So really well done. But maybe Sloth is finding his feet finally in this match. It's only taken 10 rounds. He might be able to pop off now.
He's done that a few times, though, and then it's always been Homeless swinging things back. By the way, I found out it's not Reba as I thought it was. I thought someone told me this a couple of weeks ago. It's Ryba, like it means fish in Polish.
Yeah, and I contacted the team and asked them how to say it, and it was Ryba. But I can't say it that way.
Of course,
on the fly, especially with my accent, I can't say it in that way, so...
Not on the fly fish?
Oh, smart, you boomer.
Yeah. The dad joke, look, I'm getting towards 30. The dad jokes are just flying out at this point. They're uncontrollable, Jess. They just can't stop. Much like Homeless can't be stopped. The number of fragging rounds they've had has been incredible. And I say can't be stopped. They are down 2 members here. Cavanaugh have got a lead. But this happened last round. It was a 3v5 to the side of Cavanaugh, and they still managed to throw it away. So you just can't write Homeless off. Give them a bit more time, see what they can do. They've still got 3 drones left alive if they want to make use of that info. Foster has a good idea that someone is lurking around inside of VIP, and it's trying to find the moment to strike here, get those fishy teeth out and start biting into the side of Cavanaugh.
That would have been a good nade 2 seconds ago.
If it was, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A bit earlier.
A little bit earlier, that would have been perfect, but that's okay. Get spotted out, but how do you lose that, bro? Oh, no. Missing crucial shots here, and a lot of the Homeless players are really lit, though, so I expect this to go into Cavanaugh's way, move it to the last round that we can go to. And now, yep, there we go. Sloth, he gets his triple kill. When I said he's lit up and he's fired up now, well, that's exactly what he's bringing to us in this round. He might be able to shift that momentum on for the next round. At least bring them a draw. Some kind of reprieve.
River trying to do what he can, but gets sprayed down in White Corridor by Gorgona off the back of that Sloth 3K. I've been wondering when we'd see something like that come out for the entire map. It took a long time, but finally it arrived. Cavanaugh in a spot to force a draw. And it sounds ridiculous saying that in my head at least I think it. Cavanaugh are the ones now fighting for a draw. Homeless are at least guaranteed to get a draw from this. Is a crazy thing to say, but my God, they are playing well. Can't take it away from either team on where we've got to. And I almost think with how Cavanaugh are playing the rounds that they've now won, now that we've seen a good few of them, a draw feels deserved, given how some have really gone well. But I think there's only strengths to take away from both teams, to be honest with you.
I'm eyeing up the setup here. I'm eyeing up the place that they're going to be setting up. It's going to be reading room and fireplace. I'm wondering if this is the best site to go to. My argument is actually yes, because if they do a really good top floor hold and they're really passive aggressive with it, not give too many peeks away there to the homeless players and hold it for as long as possible, their opportunity of stalling homeless out is high. So we know time management has been a little bit of an issue there with homeless. Try and make that your key focus here on defense, because you need this round. If you don't get this round, no points, no win, dire situation trying to get into the playoffs. And this is a really well-needed win here for homeless. I'm not sure what their future matches are. Who do they play next week? They play... what do they got here? They play August, which is known as Fedora. And Cavanaugh 7-1'd Fedora. So compare that how you like.
Optimism, I guess.
I guess.
Probably how you'd sniff around it. It is the hard thing, though, because looking in this second group, I think when we saw how things were shaping up for Cavanaugh, everyone was like, oh, okay, this is a Penta, M&M, and Cavanaugh group, easy peasy. And yes, okay, they're 1-1 at this point. If they lose here against Homeless, then suddenly actually Homeless look like a team that are going to make it through, and Be Kind and August will be the ones that go down. The question comes in, like, how many times can Cavanaugh slip up, though? Because let's assume they don't beat Penta. What happens if they start losing to the likes of Be Kind and August? What do we start saying then? Because that would be a shock if they fell into 5th or 6th and didn't make it through groups.
That would be an absolute shock. That's not part of my predictions whatsoever for the CL groups. And it seems like every week I'm kind of changing that, though, so we'll see.
The nature of Siege. Up C4, goodbye.
Oh,
Run as you might, but no one escapes from the deadly C4 when it comes sailing towards you, delivered personally by the Yak.
Good bit of C4 there, and the reason I say good, well, that's the hard breacher gone. That was something that Homeless relied on last... Oh!
Not the round for it to happen. Rivers swam upstream. He's gone. Unlucky. It puts us into a 3 versus 5. Cavanaugh will probably see this go through to a draw, assuming they can collect these kills. But again, we've already seen what Homeless can do in a 3 versus 5 this game.
Exactly.
Let's not write them off just yet.
Yeah, you said they can come back from really dire situations, but this is a super dire situation. Now they're going for the rush. Surely this is the rush. They said that this is our best opportunity to make something of nothing here, and that's what they've got for them. Mexis, he's going to be the one holding from New Hatch. They're going to rush in and go for the plant. They know there's a Banshee there. Here they go. They've got to go, and they've got to go now.
They're trying to go for it. Mexis is holding that upstairs, as you say, and they're trying to watch in case anyone tries to contest from above, but no one is there to contest. By the looks of it, they've got a little bit caught up, but Foster finds one onto Grizzly. That's all 3 members still alive, albeit a little bit battered and bruised, and Operator's worth of HP has disappeared from the team. And now we're into a bit of a square-off, because Cavanaugh, they have a 3-way angle being held down here. Admittedly, Anarchic not really in the spot right now, but he could rotate very, very quickly in towards Utility and join the fight in no time at all. But Gona holding off towards the side, gets domed through the wall by Mexis. They've balanced it out into a 3 versus 3. How much work can they do here to bring it all the way back? Foster, 13 kills to his name, finds yet another, and I thought they got away with it. No, brings it back to a 2 versus 2. I thought we'd see it come out. It's a 1 versus 1. No way can Mexis bring this back. Kayak sees the angle, misses the crucial shots. Mexis half HP. He sees him. Who wins the firefight? The spray through into fireplace. No one goes down. He's on the stairs. He's on the diffuser. He's got to push. He's got about 13 seconds. Oh no, this could be tragic, because Kayak has just got to lurk here at a safe distance. He's looking to peek back up once again. The plant going down. Will Mexis pull off and try and go for the spray? He's going to stick it all the way. In comes the contest. Does he know where it's coming from? Utility is the right answer. Oh my god, has this got close? They spray each other down. No way does Mexis get it. That is due justice when you have a player disconnect to still swing it back. The second 3 versus 5 for Homeless, and they bring down one of the UK giants in Cavanaugh Gaming.
No way in the world does it go that way. I am absolutely gobsmacked and so proud of Homeless that they were able to make something out of absolutely nothing. That's what that round was, Des. We called it when the disconnect happened. We called it when the opening kill happened. And all of a sudden, they've awoken the beasts that are Homeless, Boars, Cavanaugh walking away, licking their wounds. I have no idea what to say about this other than well played. I know, this is exactly how I was during that clutch.
I was sat here, the game, I was like, no, and then I was like, no, where have they done that? I couldn't believe
On
it.
the back of Mexus. A shout out to you,
Boys.
Mexus. You have improved so much. I am so proud of you. That was an amazing game. Amazing.
Here comes the Jess shill. They'll be clipping that and saving it and watching it every night they go to sleep, because it's very, very rare that players get praise from Jess. But that was one hell of a sweaty game. I'm sat here warm and a bit baking now. Let's go to the analysts and get their thoughts on what has been one hell of an upset, but fair play to Homeless in that victory.
At this point, we should just start speaking Polish. Cześć,